Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Bold and the Beautiful has Taylor Hayes looking more desperate about Brooke Logan getting between her and Ridge Forrester next week on the CBS soap. And she's taking matters into her own hands with a little help from Nick Marone. Taylor Hayes got a visit from Nick Marone last week on The Bold and the Beautiful. He taunted Taylor about the possibility of Brooke Logan moving in on Ridge Forrester while they were away in Italy. While Taylor first puts on a false front of not being worried about Brooke's moves, it is easy to see she's not secure at all about her rival and Ridge. She tells Nick that she is confident that Ridge won't sway, but Nick can see that she doesn't believe that. So, Taylor finally drops that stoic stance and presents a plan to Nick last week on Bold and the Beautiful. Taylor wants Brooke to end up in Marone's arms. This brings us to next week when Taylor and Nick conspire to keep Ridge and Taylor's relationship safe while Ridge is in Italy with Brooke and Eric Forrester. At Forrester Creations last week on Bold and the Beautiful, Eric hammers at Ridge about the possibility of losing Brooke forever. Eric adores Taylor, but he still believes Brooke is his son's true love. Ridge bucks his father all the way. He continues his spiel about being committed to Taylor, and that is it as far as Ridge is concerned. Even if Ridge is tempted to go back to Brooke, he has the other members of his family to think about. Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes would be devastated. But Eric covers that nicely by saying they are adults, and the heart wants what the heart wants. And one of the reasons he has offered for sticking with his commitment to Taylor on Bold and the Beautiful is that she is honest with him. She doesn't play the games that Brooke Logan has in the past. But Taylor is about to tarnish that thought for Ridge. Bold and the Beautiful has a desperate Taylor Hayes joining forces with Nick Marone behind Ridge and Brooke's backs. This is the kind of stuff that Brooke would do, and Ridge didn't like it. Taylor's honesty was pretty much the foundation for him choosing Taylor over Brooke, especially after he thought Brooke betrayed him by joining the Forrester Creations takeover. But on Bold and the Beautiful last week, Eric told his son he was wrong about Brooke's intentions. She was trying to get the company back for the Forrester family. Now with Taylor in cahoots with Nick, this could blow up in Taylor's face. Ridge Forrester has made no secret on Bold and Beautiful of his hatred for Nick Marone, and he's discussed how he despises the guy many times with Taylor. Ridge also made himself very clear that he doesn't want Nick on their Italy trip. Taylor went against Ridge's wishes by asking Nick to go and keep Brooke occupied. Bold and the Beautiful previews have Nick in Italy with Brooke, Ridge, and Eric next week. So, it looks like Taylor got her way. Bold and the Beautiful will likely have Ridge find out from Nick spilling the beans to Brooke that Taylor wanted him on the trip. This gives Brooke the best ammunition yet for Ridge to break off his engagement to Taylor and come back to her. All Brooke needs to do is remind Ridge why he ran to Taylor in the first place. He thought she conspired behind his back in the takeover. But now Taylor is doing the same thing, conspiring behind his back with Nick, as she asked Marone to be her watchdog in Italy. This theory of a storyline would give Ridge the out he needs to call off his engagement to Taylor Hayes and head back to Brooke Logan. Fans assume if this is the way B&B plays it out, we will see a very relieved Ridge Forrester, as he knows his father was right on the CBS soap. In a twist that no one saw coming, especially not Ridge Forrester, Taylor Hayes shocked the entire Forrester clan when she pulled a move straight out of Brooke Logan's infamous playbook. Known for her poise, patience, and a preference for logic over drama, Taylor has always prided herself on being the antithesis of Brooke. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and Taylor has clearly learned that the heart doesn't always play fair. For weeks, Ridge and Taylor had been inching closer to happily ever after again. After his tumultuous back and forth with Brooke, Ridge finally seemed ready to close the chapter on that long, complicated saga. He and Taylor had been spending more time together, reuniting over family dinners, co-parenting moments with Thomas and Steffi, and even reminiscing about their past in Monaco. Then came the big announcement. Ridge had proposed. The engagement sent ripples through Los Angeles, especially to Brooke Logan, who did her best to maintain composure in public while quietly spiraling in private. Steffi and Thomas celebrated, hoping that this was finally their mother's turn to be chosen, really chosen. But Taylor? Something felt off. Though she wore the ring and smiled through the champagne toasts, there was a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. Maybe it was a premonition. Maybe it was intuition. Or maybe, deep down, Taylor knew Ridge's heart was still tethered, however faintly, to another woman. It happened on a seemingly normal afternoon. Ridge had gone to the Forrester estate to finalize plans for their engagement party. When he returned, he was met with camera crews, press photographers, and a blushing Taylor holding a press conference in the Forrester Creations showroom. She smiled at the cameras and announced, "I just wanted to share our happiness with the world. Ridge and I are engaged. And this time, it's forever." Brooke-style boldness. The media frenzy that followed was staggering. Fashion blogs, tabloid columns, and social media exploded with the news. Hashtags like #ReLaurReturns and #Ridge and Taylor Forever trended for hours. And while some of the Forresters were delighted by the PR buzz, Ridge was anything but. Backstage, Ridge pulled Taylor aside. "What was that?" he asked, stunned. "A press conference?" Taylor, uncharacteristically flustered, tried to explain. I wanted the world to know. I wanted to claim this moment before anything could go wrong." It was then that Ridge saw it, fear. Taylor wasn't celebrating out of joy. She was celebrating out of insecurity, out of a desperate need to lock in the win before Brooke could do something to sabotage it. And just like that, the facade began to crack. Ridge had seen this before, years of it, in fact. Brooke had made a career of public declarations, on-the-spot weddings, and surprise commitments to corner Ridge emotionally. And now Taylor, the one who always stood above such theatrics, had succumbed to the same tactics. It didn't sit right. That evening, Ridge didn't go home. He sat alone in his office at Forrester, staring at the ring he'd given Taylor. Memories of their history flooded his mind. Monaco, St. Thomas, Aspen. But mixed in were memories of heartbreak, of choices made too fast, of guilt-driven reunions that ended in regret. Ridge realized something. Taylor didn't trust him, not really. And perhaps he didn't trust himself either. The next morning, Ridge asked Taylor to meet him at the beach house. He stood by the fireplace, looking conflicted as Taylor arrived, still glowing from the media buzz. "I need to be honest," Ridge said, voice steady but soft. "I didn't recognize you yesterday. That press conference, it wasn't you. At least, not the you I've always known." Taylor's smile faded. "You think I'm becoming Brooke. I think. You're scared. And maybe I've given you every reason to be. But I don't want a marriage built on fear or performance. I don't want us to become a story we're trying too hard to sell." Silence hung in the air. Then Taylor nodded, eyes glistening with tears. "You're right." I panicked. "I saw the way you looked at Brooke last week at Eric's party. And I thought, if I could just make this loud enough, permanent enough, you'd stop looking at her that way." Ridge's voice softened. "Taylor, I love you. I always will. But if we have to rush this, force this, then maybe it's not the right time. Maybe we're not ready." Her breath caught. Are you calling off the engagement?" He looked down at the floor, then back into her eyes. Yes. To his surprise, Taylor didn't collapse. She didn't scream or storm out. She simply nodded, wiped a tear, and whispered, "Thank you for not marrying me out of guilt." They hugged, quietly, tightly. There was no animosity, only heartbreak, honesty, and perhaps a tiny seed of peace. Later, Ridge stood alone on the cliff behind the beach house. The wind rustled his shirt as he looked out at the ocean. Despite the chaos, he felt something he hadn't felt in months: relief. He hadn't jumped into a marriage out of obligation. He hadn't let fear dictate his future. And for the first time in a long while, he could actually think about what he wanted, not what was expected of him. Steffi will be furious. Thomas might blame Brooke. Brooke herself will wrestle with guilt and hope, unsure of what this canceled engagement really means for her and Ridge. And Taylor? She may have lost Ridge, for now. But in reclaiming her dignity, she might just find a stronger version of herself. One who doesn't chase love with desperation, but stands tall enough to let it come to her. Will Brooke seize this moment to reclaim Ridge's heart? Or has Ridge finally chosen himself over the drama? And could Taylor's bold move spark a dangerous new alliance? Or a surprising new love interest? Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.